guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 appetizers that I'm bringing to a barbecue tomorrow. 2 of them are make ahead, so I'm going to show you these right now. And the other one I'm going to make tomorrow, and you'll see that at the end of this video. So let's turn around and get cooking. Okay, let's get started on the first appetizer. It's going to be a nacho cheese dip. So I have 1 can of the nacho cheese sauce. I have 1 can of Rotel that I'm gonna drain, and I have 1 link of hot Italian sausage, and I've taken the casing off of that. So I have my oil heating up. I'm just gonna get that in there. Not quite hot yet, but we'll get there. And we're gonna stir this around. Now, you can obviously make this the day of, but I'm making it the night before. I'm going to put it, need a little more heat. I'm just gonna put it like in a Tupperware container in the fridge overnight, and then I'm going to bring it to the barbecue. And at the friend's house I'm going to, I actually left I have one of those mini crock pots that's like perfect for dips and stuff. So then I can just throw it right in there, that way, put it on warm and keep it hot for the, the entire day, or until everybody eats it. There's not much, it's not going to be a huge one because I am bringing 3 things, but I usually make this with just the cheese and the Rotel, and I've done it with breakfast sausage, but you'll see the next recipe has breakfast sausage, so I figured I might spice this one up just a little bit. So I'm gonna get this going, and when this sausage is brown, I want to get it to a really kind of crumbly consistency, almost like how you would do taco meat. And then I will bring you back and I'll show you the next step. Okay guys, so I have this, I cooked it up, I drained out the extra grease, and you can see here it's got like a little bit of a crisp to it, and I broke it down into really small pieces. I wanted to make sure it was cooked through well because it is pork. So we have that. Now I have the heat off, and we're gonna get in, I think I'll dump the Rotel in first, that I drained, because I don't want it to be like soupy. I want it to be kind of thick. And then we're gonna just put in the nacho cheese. And I don't think I need to turn the heat back on. The pan is still pretty warm. I'm just gonna get it all incorporated, and then I am going to put it in a Tupperware once it cools down a little bit more. And I should probably use the other spoon. Scratching my pan. So we're gonna get this all mixed up, and then when I get to the party, we can throw it right in the little crock pot, the little dip crock pot, and serve it with Tostitos or Fritos. Like Frito scoops are good with something like this, or Tostitos, whatever you want. So I'm gonna show you how that looks. So just a little kick on what I usually make. I usually just do the Rotel and the cheese, and I have tried the breakfast sausage, but this will be nice and spicy. So we're gonna let that cool. I'm gonna get it in a container into the fridge, and then we're gonna move on to our next appetizer. Okay, we're gonna start on the next make ahead appetizer, and this is gonna be sausage balls. You probably have seen recipes for this, especially around Christmas time. It's very popular. I always make it gluten-free using gluten-free Bisquick mix, and this is because the friend who's throwing the barbecue, she can't have gluten in her diet. So I went to 2 stores and I couldn't find the gluten-free Bisquick anywhere. So I looked online, and they said that you can replace it with almond flour. So we're gonna give that a try. It's my first time making it this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna show you how it's made, and then I am going to, after I form the sausage balls, I'm gonna put them in my freezer on a cookie sheet because I'm taking them tomorrow. So I wanna let them freeze for maybe a couple hours. That way, when I throw them into a Ziploc bag tomorrow, they won't be all stuck together. I'll throw them in the Ziploc bag tonight after they freeze, but I don't want to throw them raw into a Ziploc bag because then they're just going to get all sticky and it's going to be a mess. So that way, when I bring them to our house, they'll be halfway defrosted, and then we can throw them in the oven anytime we want. But I am going to make a couple and show you because I want to taste them and I want to see how they are before I bring them to the party. So hopefully they're a success. They're always really good with the gluten-free Bisquick. So fingers crossed. So what we're gonna do to start, I have the Jimmy Dean sausage, and that is gluten-free. You know, I always check my labels when cooking for somebody who can't have something. It's really important. But I mean, I know what she can and can't have, but you know, anybody else, you really want to double check because it's very serious. So I'm just gonna throw this in here, 1 pound of the pork sausage, breakfast sausage, and I have 2 cups of cheese that I shredded. I've made this recipe before and I did it with bagged cheese. I find that this just melts so much better if you shred your own. It's not horrible, but the cheese is better if you do your own. So I'm putting 2 cups, and I have more if I need it, but we'll start with that. Then here I have, my oven's preheating. It's letting me know. I have a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of smoked paprika, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So we're gonna put that in. And here, it calls for a cup of almond flour. Let's get that in there. That's a little less than a cup. I'm gonna see how that works out for starters. And you know what I have to do? When using the almond flour, I always use the xanthan gum. It works well with like gluten-free flours and almond flours, things like that. They say it's like it's an excellent binder and gives strength and elasticity to gluten-free flour. So I know I've heard a lot of gluten-free people with gluten allergies say that they do add this to their flours. So I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of that. And now we're just going to get right in there and mix that up. Okay. Okay. You can always do this with a spoon. So much easier with your hands, but it's totally up to you. I don't mind touching meat. I just took my rings off, so yeah, touching meat doesn't bother me, stuff like that. But you could use a spoon. You could probably even put this in a food processor, I would think. Maybe I'll try that. Okay. That's annoying. Sorry, you guys. My bracelet keeps hitting that. Okay. I think that looks good with the like less than a cup of flour. It's got, you know, I think it has enough. And I mean, I'll be honest, I don't mind almond flour, but Bisquick is really good in this recipe. So I'm super curious to see how this turns out. I really can't wait to try it. So I'm gonna rinse off my hands right now, and then I'm gonna start forming the sausage balls. Okay, so I'm gonna start forming these. I'm not gonna weigh them out or anything. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Make them about like that. Not too big, not too small. And so the other thing I don't think I mentioned it when I was talking about these being gluten-free. When I Googled this yesterday to try to find it, you know what, those might be a little bit too big. They're supposed to be kind of small. Let's do them a little bit smaller. Yeah, maybe like that. When I Googled it to see how I could make it gluten-free without the gluten-free Bisquick mix, it also came up on keto sites. So this is not only gluten-free, it's also keto. So if you're doing the keto diet, this could be a perfect snack for you too. Actually, everything I'm making for this party is gluten-free. Just some of the packaging that I'm using doesn't say that. I just know for the person that I'm cooking it for, it doesn't affect her. So I don't want to say that it's gluten-free if someone has an intolerance to one of those things. But like this sausage, for example, and everything else, it does have that on the packaging. So that's why I said that. But yeah, so this is keto and gluten-free. The other one is a dip I'm making. It's going to be a dip, the one I'm making that you'll see next, which will actually be tomorrow morning. And that one is vegetarian. It's not vegan, but it's vegetarian. So, you know, we got options, you know, keto, vegetarian, gluten-free. So yeah, something kind of for everybody. So I'm gonna continue making these, and I'm gonna pop this sheet in my freezer, but I am gonna make a few on the side that I'm gonna pop into the oven because I wanna show you how they look when they're done and give you my opinion before I bring them to the party. So I don't think they'll be horrible. I mean, even if they're not great, I'll still bring them. Maybe someone will like them, but we'll see. So I'm gonna keep rolling away here, and when they're done, I have my oven preheated now. I'm gonna throw them in. I think the recipe, I have to double check. I think it said 15 to 20 minutes, and I will test the temperature because this is raw pork. So yeah, I'm gonna bring you back when that's done and we can see how these turned out. Okay, be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. And I only made 2 for myself because it's just me here right now. And I wanted to bring the majority of them to the party. So 15 minutes was perfect. They were between 170, 173 in temperature. So that's well above what's needed for ground pork. I did leave this gunk here. I wanted to show you. You should cook it on parchment paper. I didn't have any. So I didn't even oil the pan because it's sausage and I thought it would make enough grease, but you really need parchment paper, but no big deal. I mean, they didn't come out bad. You know, I just kind of picked them off of there. So I'm gonna try it right now and give you my honest opinion on these with the gluten-free almond flour versus the gluten-free Bisquick. So let me give it a taste. I think it's really good. I think it tastes similar. The Bisquick does give it more of a biscuit texture. When we were all eating them the very first time I ever made them, we all almost said it tasted like you were eating a McDonald's sausage biscuit, where you just have the sausage and the cheese and the biscuit and that's it. So with the almond flour, and you know, you definitely have to add the baking powder to it to give it a little something. Texture-wise, I think I like it better with the Bisquick. But flavor-wise, it's the same. I mean, it tastes the same. It's good. I would make it this way again if I couldn't find the Bisquick, but that's just my opinion. I think I like the texture better. It is more like eating a sausage biscuit, but I think it'll be a success. So the next time you see me will be tomorrow when I'm showing you the final appetizer. You could make it the night before also. I prefer to make it about 2 hours before the party because it is a cold dip. I like to make it, throw it in my fridge to chill for about 2 hours and then bring it. But when you see what I make, you by all means could make it the night before. So I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning. It is now the next day and I'm getting ready to put together the cold dip. And I have here some tomatoes, some shredded romaine. I have a pack of hot taco seasoning. I'm only going to use half of that. 16 ounces of sour cream and some green onions. So I'm going to get this, oh, and the cheese, of course, can't forget the cheese. So I'm going to get the sour cream and the taco seasoning mixed together, and then I'm going to bring you back to show you how I put it all together. So I've added half of the package of the hot taco seasoning to the 16 ounces of sour cream. You can use more, you can use less. I just find that half works the best. I've also put refried beans on the bottom, like usually 2 14-ounce cans before the sour cream. And that also is a really good dip. But today I decided just to do the sour cream and the veggies and cheese on top. So once it's in there, just spread it out the best you can, and then it will be time to start layering it. So I always like to start by using the lettuce. So I'm going to start layering the lettuce. I had a few heads of the romaine in my fridge, so I decided just to use that. I have bought the bag of the shreds lettuce, and that works great too. It's a lot easier. But since I had, you know, a few heads left in my fridge, I figured I would use those. Then after the lettuce, I like to start with the cheese. So I'm going to start layering the cheese on. I didn't measure this. Again, it's just to your own taste, if you want more, if you want less. So I'm gonna put on the cheese. And that little bag I had wasn't enough, so I did have more shredded cheese in my fridge, so I'm gonna be using that. And the next thing I'm going to put on is the tomatoes. You can use any type of tomato you want. I had some really nice Campari tomatoes I had gotten at Costco. They were the little on the vine ones. I've used cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes. I do usually cut them in half when I do that. I don't put them on whole. But these were nice. I mean, for store-bought tomatoes, they're really good. I've already had them in salads. So they just look really nice, you know. I don't have a tomato garden. I wish I did, but these look pretty good. So next I'm going to put in my green onions, and I store my green onions. These have been in my fridge for probably about 3 weeks almost. And I keep them in like a snap lock glass container, and I just change the paper towel every few days. So these are still fresh. So again, as much or as little as you want. And another thing that's good on here, you can put sliced jalapenos, you can put olives. One thing you'll probably never see me cook with is olives. I can't stand any type of olive. So this is the finished product. We are going to get this covered into the fridge and then onto the barbecue. So when I got to the barbecue, I just threw the dip into that little crock pot to heat up. And we did have parchment paper this time, so those are the sausage balls in the oven. And here they are finished. They turned out really good. Everybody enjoyed them. You did just see the clip of the dip before I brought it to the party. So this is how everything looked when it was finished. And like I said, everyone enjoyed it. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd love to have you around. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.